So many of us are looking out into our life or out into the world and asking, but what can I do? What am I supposed to be doing? Well, the mastery from the sovereign way called expansion can help us know what to do. And by the end of this teaching, I hope you will feel more confident and assured in your way. Let's say, for example, that you have a heart's desire that you're trying to manifest. Maybe it's peace for the children in Gaza. Or maybe it's true family values restored in your community. Or maybe it's justice and reparation for wounds inflicted. Or maybe it's reconciliation between tribes, families and nations, friends again. Or maybe your heart's desire is something very intimate, like good health, or a paycheck to buy some shoes. And whether big or small, it's an expansive vision, isn't it? Because it's not here now. It's expansive, so it belongs in the future, which means you can't seem to just grasp it. It's bigger than you, and it's out of your control, and it's overwhelming. What can you do? You don't know what you can do to help, and you don't have the billions of dollars and the endless time that it takes. And there are zillions of influencing factors that are way out of your control, and you're not equipped or prepared to handle it. What can you do to make it happen? What can you do to help? We will cover this today. If you're in the Oasis and you have a copy of the Sovereign Way book, which is either a hardback like mine, which you can get on Amazon, or it's a free PDF that you get with your membership. Either way, look at diagrams 5 and diagram 6. You can pull it up now. You can make a note to go back and study it after this teaching if you like. Diagram 5 and diagram 6 show us the distinction between two states of consciousness, one linear and one quantum. And if you don't have a copy of the book, that's okay. I'm going to explain it with a lovely visual from the book of John. And I'm also going to give you a simple 5-step protocol for dealing with expansive energy, the sort of overwhelming flow that leads you into higher and greater actions for your life. And a little bit later, we're going to get yet another mind-bending Bible study from Christy to help us understand expansion. So our thought experiment today is, what can I do when I don't know what I'm supposed to do? Okay, hands up if you know what I'm talking about. Have you ever? Yes, it's not just me then. How can I expand into the thing that is bigger than me? How can I make a decisive action? How can I choose righteousness? How can I help the world when I can't possibly conceive of or understand what's happening? And whether we're talking about your body or your family or your business or your greater role in the spiritual direction of our home planet, the sovereign way forward is actually very simple. And the yoke is light. You may be feeling frustration or overwhelm or anxiety. You may be in agony with this heavy burden of knowing there's an urgency and you must do something, but you don't know what to do and you don't know how to move on from here. And you feel this way because you care. It's not an emotional failure that you feel the heaviness of this expansion. It doesn't mean that you aren't spiritual or that you aren't close to God. It doesn't mean that you're not masterful in your way or succeeding as a light worker. It means that you care. So we'll start by releasing some of the anxiety today so that your perception and your energy are not out there in the future in some spheres of concepts and thought forms and algorithms of probability, but really focused in right here and right now in life. Life is what is expanding for you. And life is what will resolve the unresolvable. You are in a state of expansion. I know this, and you know this, don't you? You are in a state of expansion, and you are entitled to engage with it. There is something you can do. Let's review the 3 first masteries in the sovereign way again. The first mastery, remembering. Ah, yes, I am made of light. I am primordially good. I am becoming. I have core values and a unique essence. I am known, I am loved, I am safe, and I have a reason to be here in life now. I remember. The second mastery, recognizing. I know my strengths and weaknesses. I can tell the difference between my personality and my soul. I can tell when I'm triggered. I can tell when something is not true. And I can tell when I need to make a sovereign choice. I recognize. And the third mastery, releasing. I can effectively forgive and realign. I can detach from pressures and influences that have nothing to do with my sovereign way. I can let go of what's not mine to hold. I can release entire timelines and ideas of what destinies I need to be entitled to. I release. So if I have remembering and recognizing and releasing, then all that natural universal life force that I'm plugged into, a natural consequence of having these 3 masteries is that energy becomes so cohesive and so magnetic that you will experience expansion organically. And it will no longer be something that you have to control or architect. It's simply life force animating, moving you along like a current in a river. And sometimes the flow is super strong like whitewater rapids, and sometimes it's smooth and calm. And we get this, don't we? Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, we get this. There is a universal current of creation, and we want to be in it. So when it comes to expansion and being able and prepared to do the next right thing for you to do, which isn't always the thing you think you need to do, the next right thing for you to do. Surrender. Surrender is the first word of the day. I can see all of you nodding. Oh, here we go again, yeah. Surrender, I suppose, yeah. Surrender is the first word of the day. Now, Jesus gives us a beautiful, wonderful visual in the book of John, chapter 15, verses 1 to 4. I love it. It always helps me. Listen to this. I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine dresser. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes, so that it will be even more fruitful. You are already clean because of the word I have spoken to you. Remain in me, as I also remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. So, imagine that there is an infinite universal vine of energy, and you are a branch on that vine, and you bring forth the fruit. What you don't do is attach your worth to the number of grapes and let your ego say, yes, but inside my belly is the seed at my core, and I have the DNA code, I have the genetic secrets for entire vineyards. I should be able to manifest enough to cover all these valleys with grapevines. And then separate yourself from the vine to go and try and earn the money to buy 100 acres for your vineyards and a ton of timber and concrete to build the vast wine pressing factories that you innately feel you're entitled to. It's not necessary. You do indeed have all the codes of creation and all the codes relating to the manifestation of that heart's desire of yours. You do indeed have all the codes in the genetic chambers of that seed at your core, but you are a living branch on a living vine. God is the vine dresser, and he knows the seasons. And now, if you are in this group, the Oasis, then you are someone who has chosen to be a devotee of love and a good influence in the world. So therefore, you are a follower of Christ. And the natural expansion energy of the universal life force moves through Christ's design before yours. Oh. So that means only your dreams and wishes and ideals that align with the highest, most sovereign way can ever really be animated and energized. Everything else is like making a sandcastle in a sandstorm. And God will prune away entire timelines and action plans that aren't in alignment. And that means, this is the best part because it simplifies the whole life. That means that whatever is in front of you right now to do is the only thing you need to focus on doing. Because the Christ mind directs your thought activity and connects you with appropriate people on the path. Your expansion occurs not by conquest, because you figured it all out and you did all the right things and you put it all to order so the thing could finally manifest. No, your expansion does not happen by conquest, but by engagement. As life force moves through you, manifesting as revelations, solutions to life's problems, treasures from the vault of experience and expertise that are shared so generally among us who love each other, each one bringing a gift to the table that fulfills and nourishes everyone else. This sort of expansion is not about numbers of followers and dollars. It's not about winning territory or respect. It's not even about laying the foundations of the vineyards that you've been dreaming of and that you're so convinced you need to steward one day. It's not about accomplishment at all. This is expansion of the soul. Okay, fine. All right. So how do you do it then? How do you do it, especially when you're facing overwhelm or any challenge bigger than yourself? How do you switch your mindset from walking with Christ, like in diagram 5 in the sovereign way, to walking in Christ, like in diagram 6 in the sovereign way? By the way, this is the sovereign way and you can buy it on Amazon. Or if you're in the Oasis, you have a free PDF. How do you do it? Here is a 5-step hero's protocol that my husband and I, there he is, Matt, give him a wave. My husband and I created this in our most devastating season, when we were literally living in a tent in the desert with nothing left. How do we go from here to living in our dream home by the water in an affluent area with a purpose and a mission to help people? How do we go from one to the other? And we created the Heroes Protocol. It's like a buoyancy device that helped us make true decisions in times of extreme urgency and hardship. And it always helps us rise. Okay, are you ready? Do you want the Heroes Protocol? All right, here we go. So, 5 steps, each one a mindset that builds on the next. Yeah, it's like that. It's a protocol. Do this and then this. Because each step you take creates a shift in consciousness, a psychoneurosomatic rearrangement that helps you grow, helps you expand. Okay, step 1, you can write this down, write it in the comments, or if you're at your table, write it down in your journal. Step 1 in the Heroes Protocol is surrender. You guessed it. Surrender. Let go, step back. I don't know what this is. Release the stories. Release the excuses. Release the reasons about why this and that. Remember that I am only truly present to this small perspective that I have, and truth is far greater than this. I cannot possibly know all the influencing factors involved in birthing my heart's desire. I don't know what to do. But I do agree that under the grace of God, everything is possible, because everything is. So that's step 1, surrender. Yes, Elise says, I'm deeply in surrender right now. So if step 1 is surrender, which means I've let go of my control and my vision of how it ought to be, and I'm accepting that whatever is, and I don't fully know what it is, then step 2, write this down, is ground. Ground in to what is. See. What is this? And be in it. Do you remember our verse for the season? Give me a thumbs up. Do you remember the verse that is underscoring our season? Yep, we've got some thumbs up. It is Isaiah. It is Isaiah 43:19. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and a wellspring in the desert. What is it? Ground in and see. What is it now? How about this one? This is Romans chapter 1, verse 20. All his invisible attributes, his eternal power and divine nature, the will and the way of God, have ever since the creation of the world been clearly seen in the things that have been made. Meaning, God is not hiding anything from you. There are no secret codes or instructions that you haven't been given. There are no secret or hidden traumas somewhere in the smelly underbelly of your consciousness that you have to figure out somehow before you can move on. No, it is all right here in front of you. Ground into what is already here, because growth happens from within the vine, from within life. Look at your life. My husband and I, we do the great audit. When we face these impossible challenges, like a year ago today, we were in between 2 massive hurricanes. Those of you in Sarasota remember that. Brett, who's on this call, helped us so much. Esther too, so much help from our community. But we're in between 2 hurricanes. The first hurricane had flooded our house and destroyed our dwelling. The second hurricane was a category 5 heading right towards us while we're still mopping up the floors from the first one. It's a huge, huge situation because you're in repair and recovery, and you're in preparation for the next disaster, and you have to manage your life like feed the children at the same time. It's a lot. It's overwhelmingly a lot. So my husband and I sit down together and we do the great audit. I might not know the full story. I might not know much, but I am surrendered to what is, so I can choose to look and see what I do know. I am actually authorized as a daughter of God to have authority in my situation. So what is my situation? What are the actual happenings, not stories, actual objects and occurrences happening around me? What tasks have I actually been charged with? What is right here now available for me? What is mine to tend to? What are my resources? What do I know? How can I help? What is already here for me to prune, to fertilize, to water? Remember, God won't give you something that you're not ready for. So start understanding what you're ready for and get really clear. The great audit can also include non-physical things like, what are my mental masteries? What are my metaphysical or spiritual gifts? What are my superpowers? What do I have to bring forth? And I might be thinking, why aren't I manifesting my ideal client? But I can look and see who is here now asking for my help. That is my ideal client. Who is reaching their hand out to me right now? So step 1 is surrender. Okay, I will allow it to be. Yeah. I don't know what it is. I don't know how I can solve the problem in Gaza. But I must surrender to the knowing that it is what it is. And there is a place for me in it. Step 2 is then ground in. Okay, I don't know what it is, but I do know something. And once I get to that point, once I'm grounded in to who I am and where I am, that's when I do step 3. Write this down. Power up. Yes. Power up. Call on the things you haven't called on. Physical or metaphysical. Optimize your body. Optimize your energy. Optimize your mind. Ask for help. Rehydrate. Take a multivitamin. Cultivate your readiness. Yes? You want to manifest the thing you're not ready for? Then cultivate your readiness. Nourish your body and your life force. Follow the masteries in the sovereign way. Power up. Get big. Get strong. You have a way of doing that. You know, you've been raised up by God in a modality or in a way of life, in a way of being. You have a way of powering up. If you've done that, if you've powered up, then it's like, okay, so let's say step 1 is surrender, which is letting go of the riverbanks when the current of the river starts increasing. Grounding is about reorienting myself in the water so I know what is up and what is down. Powering up is about getting up onto the top, onto the surf. Now you're on the surfboard. Now you can act. That's step 4. Write that down. Act. Because once you've powered up, now you have the actual vantage point that you're authorized for. Christy teaches so powerfully on this, and she may mention Habakkuk later. I don't know. Will you? Maybe. We don't know. But, you know, she teaches powerfully on this. Power up, get up to a better vantage point so you can actually see the landscape that you're designed to be tending to. And from there you move to the next stepping stone. No further though. You act. You take one step in the right direction. No further. This and then this. And then this, but for now only this. You build your expansion on embodied experience, you see. So when you take one true action at a time, your next right action shifts because you have become greater. So you might be trying to manifest a multi-million-dollar hedge fund investment so you can go and build up great foundations of marvelous vineyards. But maybe today's focus is just eat more protein, drink some water. You might be trying to bring justice to an impossibly unfair situation. And maybe today's action is just go for a walk with your friend. Trust what is in front of you and do only that, knowing that it will lead to a ripple effect that unfolds your manifestation. Yes? You know, in England, in my culture, there is one magical action that you can take in any situation which always makes things right. Have a cup of tea. No matter what. You bang your elbow, have a cup of tea. That guy declares war on that guy, have a cup of tea. Because it helps to, it puts you into neutral, doesn't it? So that your next action is an embodiment of the previous one. And if you've followed the first 4 steps, surrender, ground, power up, and then act, then you are now in the highest trajectory for you. You are now in the sovereign way. And you can continue to trust that what is right here is the way. So step 5 in the protocol is allow. Write that down. Allow. You've surrendered to what is, which means it's safe to ground into what is. When you're grounded in, you can effectively power up. Once you've powered up, you can take bold, righteous action. And if you followed those first 4 steps, then that means the next step is to allow what comes next. Even if it doesn't look like the thing you think you're manifesting. It is a result of good and bold and right action, which means it is what it's supposed to be. This is the sovereign way. So allow it to be so and witness the unfolding. I have been extremely heavy thinking about the geopolitical situation, feeling so helpless about the children in Gaza. It has been very difficult for me this season. And I am beyond immeasurably grateful and blessed for my privilege. I don't know how to be the savior in this situation. I don't know what to do. But I do have this text message that just came in this morning from a friend. This is a true story, by the way, and it wasn't this morning, it was a couple of weeks ago, but let's pretend. I do have this text message that comes in from a friend saying she has a box of candles for me. So I'll go and meet her and I'll pick up the candles and I'll get talking in the driveway with her and I'll discover that she actually has thousands of candles she's trying to move, and I come up with a hope outreach initiative. So I contact all the faith leaders in Sarasota and I create a curated guide with free local resources to help inspire and empower thousands of people in my community, and I get 2 clients from it, so now I can pay my bills. All of that from a text message about a box. You only tend to the thing that is directly in front of you, from that position of sovereign power that you've shifted into using the 5-step protocol. That's why allowing is the 5th step in the Hero's Protocol. So your mission this week is to surf the expansion energies. Melanie texts in saying it's so beautifully simple. It really is. It is so simple. Your mission this week then is to surf the expansion energies, right? To pray over those 2 diagrams in the sovereign way. Who is not on mute? Let me just... There we go. Surfing the expansion energies. Get the Sovereign Way on Amazon or look at the free PDF that you got when you became a member. Pray over diagram 5 and diagram 6. Get really familiar with the mindset and vibration of expansion in the vine. This is going to really help to equip you for the expansion energy that is now moving into and through your life. You will encounter your real life meeting you, rising you to meet you on this quest, on this challenge. So say yes to the opportunities that lift you this week and be courageous and free. And then don't forget to tell us about the expansion that you experience when we meet again next week. Now I'm going to pass over to Christy for what she has to bring forth today. It's always humbling. I'm going to pay really close attention. All right, Christy, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. As I'm following along in this season of the Sovereign Way, where we are reconciling all things and being the new thing, I would comment on my own journey. Is that I've released all agreements except those in Christ about who I really am and what my assignment is in this lifetime and in this season. Recognizing what is not me and what is not aligned with my assignment. And now to expand that which is. So I'm ready to move into this season of expansion, and I hope that you are too. And if you're catching this on the replay, I'm going to recommend that you go back to the beginning of this season and catch the introduction and masteries of remembering, recognizing, and releasing, which will position you for expansion. So on the subject of expansion, I've taught on this before. So there's a deeper teaching back there in the archives on the icon of expansion. And his name is Jabez. Jabez went down in history as a man who asked to be released from the configurations of suffering tied to his name that his mother gave him when she was in agony during his birth. He asked to instead be blessed and have his territory expanded. So I'll just quickly run through that. It's in 1 Chronicles 4:10. And I'm going to read this in a paraphrased manner, drawn from the Amplified Version, the King James, and the New Living Translation. There was a man named Jabez who was more honorable than any of his brothers. His mother named him Jabez because his birth had been so painful. So note that Jabez wants to transcend beyond the name and the configuration of life that he was given, which is life is suffering. And he said, no, I believe that life is blessing, and I'm asking you, God, to expand me so I can prove that. So he said, Jabez cried out to the God of Israel, saying, oh, that you would bless me indeed. The Hebrew there is barak, barak. Repeated the word blessing for emphasis. Oh, that you would bless me indeed and expand my border, which means to enlarge my coast, to expand my property, to increase my holdings, to increase my balance sheet, my wealth, my reputation. And that your hand would be with me, on me, guiding me and filling me with your presence and wisdom. And that you would keep me from evil so that it does not hurt me or grieve others. And God granted him all that he requested, is what is recorded. Now, if we look to Jesus' teachings that we've shared here in previous sessions, to be blessed is to live in the presence of Christ as a unique new creation, unprecedented, and now revealed, as an expression of the sovereign way and the sovereign wellspring. Cleansing from sin, healing, and peace and refreshment is what comes from the wellspring. So we can live as an expansive blessing. And this is evidenced by good fruit, by bearing good fruit. Jesus goes on to say that every branch that is growing within the true vine and bears fruit will be pruned by the vine dressing. vine dresser in order to bring forth more fruit, more good fruit. So this reminds us, again, that expansion first requires release. So what does it mean to bear fruit? So let's go to the Greek. The Greek verb for bear is phero, which means to carry, to bear, by implication, to endure the rigor of a thing, to bear patiently one's conduct, or to spare you from punishing or destroying others. So you bear the sins of others. It also means to bring, as in to move, to bring by announcing, to bring by producing, to lead, and to conduct yourself in a certain way. So that's bearing. So now we're going to talk about good fruit. So what is fruit? It is a masculine noun in the Greek, karpos. This means the fruit of the tree, the fruit of the vine, or the fruit of the field, or the fruit of the human being, mother or father, their progeny, their posterity. It also means that which originates or comes from something. It is an effect, it is a result. Words, actions, deeds. Advantages, profit, utility. Praises presented to God as a thank offering. And a reaped harvest. That is the Greek noun karpos. Jesus said in Matthew 3, prove by the way that you live that you have committed your life to God, turning away from and releasing all your old ways of thinking that led you to live in a way that is not aligned with who you are. That's another way of saying repent from your sins and turn to God. Jesus said later in Matthew, you can identify people by their fruit. That is, by the way that they act. Can you pick grapes from a thorn bush or figs from a thistle? A good tree produces good fruit, and a bad tree produces bad fruit. A good tree cannot produce bad fruit, and a bad tree cannot produce good fruit. This ties us back to discernment or recognizing. Just as you can identify a tree by its fruit, you can identify people by their words and deeds. Are you ready for expansion? Are you ready to bring forth good fruit and lots more of it? I'm going to recommend, and Elizabeth touched on this earlier, so I did weave it in for her sake. Go read what the prophet Habakkuk declared in chapter 2 of his prophecy. He said, I will ascend to my watchtower, so I can see the whole landscape away from distraction. And I will wait to see what God will say to me. Surrounded, surrendered, grounded. There, I will write the vision and make it clearly understandable so that I can hand it to someone who will receive it gladly, read it, and run with it effectively. I teach this in business all the time. If you have a vision in your head and in your heart, no one can see it. You've got to externalize it so that others can run with it. This is legacy. Now, to the end that we just talked about, to be in the vine, to be bearing good fruit, and then to expand into even more good fruit, let me provide you with an activation from Galatians 5:22 and 23. Now, expand our territories through engagement rather than by conquest, by growing the fruit of the Spirit of life that is love in us and through us, in a way that others can behold in us as the new thing they can remember and recognize. Now, let love show up in us as children of God, bringing peace to chaos through our words, our decisions, our behaviors, and our actions. And here are the forms of love. The fruit of the Spirit. joy, peace, long-suffering or patience, kindness or loving kindness, wholesomeness or goodness, faithfulness, useful gentleness, and self-regulation or self-control. There is no law against these things, so let them be in us and let them expand. Let each of us now be the way and the wellspring to change the world. Amen. And with that, I give it back to you, Elizabeth.
Wow, fantastic, Christy. Thank you very much. In answer to your question, yes, I am ready for expansion. And I can see a number of people in the Oasis are also saying yes. Esther's saying yes. Christopher is saying yes. Expansion is occurring. It is the natural way of the universe, and it is also a natural consequence of you having mastered the first three masteries in the sovereign way. Remembering, recognizing, and releasing will always lead to expansion, which means it's a natural fruit of who you are in the vine. And your mastery is not making expansion happen, but allowing it to happen organically and being present in a quantum consciousness sort of state of mind to the synchronicities that expand our borders without pain, without struggle and suffering. What we're going to experience, if you're actually playing along and you're really engaging with this teaching and with this teaching series, then what's going to happen for you this week is you're going to move out into a life, you're going to begin to see expansiveness, perhaps in areas that had been stagnant for a while. And you're going to see opportunities emerge, doors open, conversations happen, and you're going to be present to it. Say yes to the opportunities that arise for you. Keep your energy not out there in the algorithms of probability and cause and effect equations and what should I or should I not be doing. Keep your energy very, very focused and very present, so that when something emerges, when the greening occurs, when you do see the wellspring that's opening up in the desert, that you should be able to put your cup to it and drink from it heartily. That you should be able to say yes to the expansion that happens. And we've got 2 weeks of practicing expansion now before we move on to the 5th mastery. I'm not going to give you a spoiler alert. You'll find out when you get there. It'll just be occurring. But for the next 2 weeks, we have the chance to really, really engage with expansion in our own little lives and in a much, much bigger holy work on this planet, you could say. In 1 week, we'll meet again as a group, the Oasis, and we'll share what we're discovering. Megan, who is a fantastic philosopher, anthroposophic philosopher, sovereign homeschooling, homesteading advocate, she's going to be facilitating this discussion, and I guarantee that we will be harvesting fruit from it, because there are some powerful minds, some powerful hearts in this group, and when we come together to really explore how expansion is manifesting in us, it is going to be quite an experience. So make sure that you're there for it. To summarize, I'm going to remind you that we got the 5-step heroes protocol in this teaching to help us deal with that expansion as we move into this week. We want to be prepared. We want to be equipped. So use this mindset technique called the heroes protocol. Surrender, ground, power up, act, and allow. And use this again and again for the little things and for the big things, and you will see yourself really coming into cohesion with your most magnetic and powerful energy. And then I'm going to remind you of the little prayer, the little thought device that we set for today, which is, I am in the vine. As often as you can, remember, I am in the vine. And notice, am I actually recognize? Am I trying to be a little branch? Am I breaking myself off from the vine to go off and do my own thing and try and expand my borders? Or am I in the vine? And that's going to be your thought experiment this week, or your little device. So we've got the heroes protocol, and we have I am in the vine. Those are your tools for this week in your backpack. So Go forth, my friends. I'm going to turn off the recording now and we'll do a quick popcorn round of sharing. Thank you very much for watching.